Welcome to r/Reddit Revenge. This is a story of someone getting back at someone with revenge after being wronged. And today we have 3 great stories. So subscribe, hit the like button, and let's begin. The first story, entitled Girl Hoarded Pizza. We replaced it with an empty box. She was furious, but the pizza went to someone else. The second story, fed up with a nickel and diming landlord and management company, I found a better deal, revoked my old lease, and left them scrambling to find a new tenant. The third story, after a disastrous tenant caused in damages and left the house condemned, they audaciously asked for a character referral for the next rental, prompting a cheeky response. The first story is The Pizza Bandit. Some background. I work at a pizza shop where it's an unspoken rule if we get an extra pizza, it's fair game for everyone to eat. You can only claim it at the end of the night. There's a girl that's entitled EG, we've called, that was being super negative and mean to everyone. There are 2 other people in the back of the house. One is Liam, and the other is John. We were at work last night and it was a good night. Not super busy, but not super slow. Just the norm. 2 people in the back of house worked doubles and were hungry, so we all were hoping for an extra pizza. I got on the oven to cut pizzas and take them up to the red rack. This rack is red and it's just a place to put done orders, and noticed a large buffalo pizza sitting on the side. I was confused because the order was done and ready to take up, so I asked one of the girls up front about it. She said she didn't know anything about it. Then Liam came back and said, "Guess what? We got a large buffalo pizza." We were all super excited about this because a buffalo pizza is an amazing pizza that gets eaten in less than 5 minutes. Since it was a large pizza, we could all have a piece, but it was too busy to eat, so we were going to wait until it got slower, then dig into this amazing pizza. Liam came back and said EG took a piece of the pizza and ate it over top of the rest of the pizza. Yes, the box was open and that's disgusting. This is a big no for a couple of reasons. 1, COVID is going on, and 2, Liam is a big germaphobe and won't eat the pizza, and I won't eat this pizza because EG did this. Others didn't hear about this, but it didn't matter, because EG took the pizza and hid it from everyone. This made everyone mad, so we started to look for it. About 5 minutes later, Liam found the pizza hidden in a spot that's not all that good. It had its label. The label tells all the info about the pizza, like who it belongs to, their phone number, etc., and a DoorDash sticker on it. Me and Liam started to plan what we were going to do. Liam said to take the pizza and hide it, but I had a better idea. I told him let's print out another label, grab a DoorDash sticker, and slap them on a large empty pizza box. And that's exactly what we did. It was all set up. All we had to do was wait for the time to strike. A little time later and it was go time. I grabbed the decoy box and Liam watched my back. I switched the boxes out and everyone started to laugh as I ran to the back with the buffalo pizza, trying not to be seen by EG. When I got to the back, Liam had the oven door open and I put it in. It's a gas oven that's like one at your house. It has the door on it that opens, but nobody knows that it opens. It also doesn't have a window, so you can't see into it. This makes it perfect for hiding things. Even the owner of the pizza shop didn't know it opened, and he worked there his entire life. Once the box was secured, we were excited because we just pranked EG. Sometime later, Liam's girlfriend, who works there, came back with someone and asked where the pizza went. We asked why, and she told us that EG said that Allie could have the pizza. This made us feel bad, and she said that we pranked the wrong person, so we threw away the decoy box and gave Allie the pizza. Sometime later, Allie comes back and starts ranting to us, calling EG an effing sea-bag piece of SH. EG was now telling Allie that she could only have one piece off the pizza and not the whole thing. So Liam grabs the pizza, hands it to me, and I put it back in the oven. Then I proceeded to print off the label and grab a DoorDash sticker, slap them on a new large box, and put it where she hid the pizza. I had to put the decoy box with nothing in it right under EG's nose. She was about 7 feet away from me, and one look to her left and EG would have seen me. The prank was back on and we were all excited again. We started to do our daily cleaning tasks and clean the shop like normal. It was 9 p.m. and the shop was officially closed, so I mopped. Liam finished the dishes, and our manager John was going over our cleaning list making sure it was all done, when all of a sudden, boom, the decoy box was slammed. Footsteps from EG shoot around the shop as loud as can be. She came back with the box open and ran up to John as me and Liam watched. She screamed at John and yelled at him, demanding to know where her pizza was. He knew but just pulled the best poker face and said, "I don't know," as he shrugged. EG then slammed the box on a table and stormed off. She was peeved and we were happy as can be. I followed her and she left the building. She was off the clock, and as she left she tried to slam the door, but the main door doesn't slam and she failed. I talked to everyone up front and we were laughing at EG. Allie said, "I wish I still had that pizza," and I looked at her and said, "We still have it." She followed me into the back and it felt good to let her have the pizza, but she only wanted one piece. so I gave the rest of it to one of our trainees who was also happy to get it. This was fun to just make EG mad, because the entire night she was just being a complete jerk to all of us. Plus, she doesn't know who did it, so that's even better. EG turned out to be so brazen that even the pizza decided to play a prank on her. Yes, Pizza's our new superhero who's chosen to fight for justice in the world of pizza intrigue. She hid in the oven like a real spy agent and got herself justice in the form of a delicious Hungarian delicacy. Now EG can think about its missing delicacy, trying to solve the mystery of the disappearance of the pizza, which seems to have taken a vacation in the oven. This story of pizzeria chaos is just a real crime detective. EG tried to become pizza bandit. I think EG learned a lesson she'll never forget. Never steal pizza in front of real pizza masters. The next story is, I left a landlord and property management company with a loss because they tried to nickel and dime me. This happened a while ago after I relocated to a new city. I signed a new 1-year lease for a townhouse in the downtown core and really enjoyed where I lived. The townhouse was okay, but a little less nice than I anticipated during my showing. Caveat emptor, I suppose. The only other relevant background is the lease said the security deposit would be used for the last month's rent and would not be held as a damage deposit. The year passed with very few problems. The water heater went out in the dead of winter, but I stayed in a hotel for 3 nights and offset that cost against the rent after verbally agreeing with the landlord to do so. At the end of the year, the landlord asked if I wanted to renew. I said yes. I was presented with a 1-year extension for the same rent. I signed it and sent it back. I waited about 2 weeks and hadn't received the landlord's signed version back, so I inquired with the management company. They said the landlord was mad because they didn't get rent on the first of the month most of the time. I asked what they were talking about because I always paid on or ahead of time, and they said that while I paid the management company on time, as required by the lease, the management company hadn't gotten it into landlord's hands in time. I said that wasn't my problem per the lease, but the management company requested $100 more per month on the extension to make up for the inconvenience. They said they would send me a new lease reflecting the $100 increase, which they did. I immediately went out and found a condo in a similarly ideal location, which was much nicer that rented for $75 a month less than my existing rent. I went through the background check with them and they sent me a lease to sign. Before signing the new lease, I sent a certified letter to landlord and the management company at the old location, saying my previous signature on the new lease, which had not yet been countersigned, was revoked and ineffective because of their counteroffer and no longer capable of acceptance. I then signed the new lease. At that point, I had about 10 days left on the existing lease. The management company and landlord called me freaking out because they wouldn't be able to find a new tenant in time and would lose revenue. I said not my problem, hired a moving company, cleaned up the old place and returned it to them in the same condition I received it. 6 months later, I found out that no one had lived in the house after me. What you did would have been a horrible thing to do to another landlord, except for the way he treated you with absolutely zero respect and rudeness. He deserved it. I'm sure she acted the same way in his apartment. My boyfriend and I considered investing in rental property, but decided against the idea. We found housing in several places that we had to move out of. The worst was with an old woman and her adult son. They watched all our comings and goings and met my husband on the road, no matter what time he returned home at night. We had a year-old and my son used to approach him through the fence at the top of the stairs. I had to wash the dishes immediately after meals and collect the baby's toys as soon as he fell asleep, because she came to check on all of it. She expected my husband to mow the lawn, take out the trash cans, including theirs, and do any other work around the house. We gave notice to terminate the lease after a month and moved to a less attractive apartment where the owner did not live. It was the best decision. The third story is, my tenant did over $50,000 in damages and then asked me for a character referral. When my wife, 24 female, and I, 28 male, were starting out, we had a little old rental house downtown that we leased to male students. When we moved out to the county for a job, I figured it would be easier to rent to one family, rather than chase around 6 separate broke students for rent, shared bedrooms. The first family that we put in there turned out to be a bad choice on my part. Misty, 40 female, was fine for the first 4 months or so. When I visited in person, the house was noticeably getting gross. They weren't taking care of things. This might have been somewhat forgivable, but then Misty stopped paying rent on time. To make matters worse, there was a plumbing issue that sounded expensive. The toilets were backing up and sewage was soaking the carpets in the basement. The whole place stank. I didn't even know why. The plumber ran a camera down the pipes to see what was happening. He informed me that the clog was a result of a buildup of needles. I opted to pay $1,000 to have them use high pressure to flush out the system. Unfortunately, my house was nearly 100 years old, so the high pressure destroyed the clay connector to the city's sewage system. The only way to fix it was to shut down a major residential road and dig to it for $30,000. Insurance wasn't in any hurry to pay either. I didn't have that kind of cash sitting around at the moment, and Misty was still in there. I wanted to evict Misty, but it would be a long process, and I knew that she would fight tooth and nail to stay, as she didn't want to go back to her parents, who lived just down the street. By this point, my house resembled a hoarder's home, and I suspected that prohibited substances were being dealt there. Rather than evicting Misty, I called the health department because they were living with no running water in a porta potty that they rented in the backyard. It was gross. They also had 2 girls there under the age of 10. It took a visit from a team of sheriffs to get her out, and only well after the property was condemned. When Misty finally did leave, she left about 100 pounds of rotting meat on the front lawn. She also left the house a giant mess and stole many of my things. I was so relieved that she was gone that I almost didn't care. She was a major source of stress in my life, and in my marriage. It ended up taking several hours and over $50,000 to fix up the house. Eventually, insurance came through for part of it. I tried not to be resentful about the situation because being a prohibited substances addict and living in a condemned building is its own hell. There wasn't anything that I could feel good about doing to her. She was already doomed to live poorly based on her own choices. By this point in life, I felt like I was above petty revenge. Besides, she had 2 kids. Oddly, Misty had the gal text me to ask for a character referral for a new place, since she didn't have anyone else, other than her parents presumably. I was dumbfounded but texted back a thumbs up. Maybe I could save the next guy. Eventually, I did get the call from the next guy asking about Misty. He was an a-hole to me on the phone. He was talking over me and talking down to me. He was an expert landlord doing his due diligence, etc. I tried to get my story about Misty in, but then I paused. I listened to him talk down to me some more. I'm a total stranger, what the hell? And then I waited until it was my turn. I told him, Misty was great. I had some major plumbing issues, otherwise she'd still be with me. Also, she's got a cute family. Treat me with disrespect? Good luck with Misty. You two deserve each other. Misty got the place and thanked me. Then I never heard from either again. Petty me. Edit. I was very fortunate to have bought that property in 2012 when I was 22 years old. I feel bad for people that are that age now. It's rough out there. If she decided to release you from her presence, that's a victory. But it's really funny how she asked you for a recommendation. She probably hoped that you would forget about all her mishaps. But you, a true hero, decided to make a joke and wish her a happy search for a new home. May she and the new owner be lucky with Misty. And may this rental expert realize that she has taken on a big task. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Have a good day.